Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play The Witcher 2. Thank you, Brain. This is the second time I've actually recorded this game today, because for some reason Bandicam didn't want to record. And by didn't want to record, I mean it started recording. It was recording the letters as they are now, the numbers for the frame count for the frame rate, as now were red, which means it's recording. And there was a file for what's this? No. Is this even the way I want to go? Yes, this is going to take us to Lobenden. Why is this? I thought. I've not been that way yet. But I had been earlier. I had been in the last session. And when I went to check the file, it was 5 kilobytes, which for an hour and a half session is a little bit low. So I don't know what's happened. So I'm trying slightly different settings. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know. This may still not work, in which case I may have to try and find a different program to Bandicam. And I did have a go with Fraps, and the frame rate was awful for this game. Mainly, possibly because of the settings. I do have OBS, so I probably could try that. But that's so I don't know what's going to happen should this not work. Well, I'll find out at the end of this. Right. One thing I did notice was there's a lot of what are they called? Journal entries that I've not really read. So I thought, you know, rather than just go out off and do all the quests and leave these and then never get round to looking at them ever, which is quite possible, I'm going to read through all of them. I don't think I've read any of them. That's a weird thing to look at. That's tutorial, so we'll skip the tutorial. But we're going to read through pretty much everything. And then at the end of it, I'll have read all of the journal entries, and every time we pick up a new journal entry, I can look at it. I may not, but I can. And I should be able to do it. I can then also see which ones are new, one hopes. So yeah, I'm going to read through all of them now. So I don't know how long that's going to take, or how many videos that's going to take. But yeah, I'm going to just read through all of them. Right. Locations. From the prologue, we have La Valette Castle. During my travels, I visited the dynastic abode of the La Valette family several times. Anyone who considers Vizima an impressive city is unlikely to have seen the ancestral citadel of the La Valettes. The immensity of the fortress is simply breathtaking, to the extent that calling it a mere castle is either a gross inaccuracy or a jest. Expanded over generations, the walled town boasts the greatest fortifications in Temeria, and perhaps in all the northern kingdoms. The citadel is located near the strategically important White Bridge, which connects the banks of the Pontar. It commands the entire area, including nearby trade routes and the river crossing. No wonder, then, that the rebellion of the La Valettes disturbed Foltest's sleep. And the dungeons? During one of my visits to the La Valette family's vast abode, when I had the pleasure of meeting the old Baron's niece, a charming creature, but 16 springs old. I wonder where this is going. My host, clearly proud of his lands and holdings, offered to show me around the keep's expansive and varied cellars. While he entertained me with conversation and anecdotes on various subjects, including the unique system of penalties designed for seducers of the underaged. He knew where this was going. I got a thorough tour of the dungeon beneath La Valette Castle. The guards were exceptionally polite and seemed to have an unerring sense of direction within the labyrinthine network of vestibules, cells, and winding corridors. I imagined that without their help it would be easy to lose one's way there, wandering around for hours, unable to find an exit. I would not envy any soul imprisoned there. So, Chapter 1, Locations. Flotsam Forests. The wilderness surrounding Flotsam was a thick, impassable wood, where inexperienced travellers would easily lose their way and fall victim to wild beasts or, even more probably, elven arrows. A rarely used, thickly overgrown route led to Edern, but given the forest dangers, most travellers preferred to journey by river. The brothel, where we are staying. Flotsam's brothel was one of only 2 noteworthy attractions available to visitors and locals. Yet, unlike the scaffold, the bordello kept regular hours, offered a regular repertoire, and had a regular staff. Flotsam as a whole. Flotsam, a river port and trading post, lies along the upper course of the Pontar, among inaccessible forests in the valley that bears the river's name. Numerous trade routes meet here, and the Temerian-Adernian border is located nearby. Land travel in the region was arduous and dangerous, for Scoia'tael units prowled the woods. However, as they say, elves, like cats, are shy of water, so most travellers and merchants chose to sail the river. Flat-bottomed barges, punts, scows, and even sea-going cogs visited the harbour, ferrying goods between Edern, Cedwyn, Temeria, Redania, and Sidaris on the seashore. No wonder, then, that this ostensibly small outpost was of vital economic importance. He who controlled it drew immense profits from trade. At the start of our story, Flotsam belonged to Temeria, and its small garrison was tasked with enforcing the law and providing protection from river pirates. Scoia'tael units and monsters inhabiting the surrounding forests. Enforcing the law and providing protection from river pirates, Scoia'tael units and monsters inhabiting the surrounding forests. Lobenden. This small settlement, nestled against the walls of the trading post, was supposedly founded long ago by Aedirnian settlers. Even if true, this is of little consequence. Though the village was a complete backwater compared to the provincial outpost, Lobenden and Flotsam depended on each other because most of the area's fishermen, boat builders, tar makers, and hunters inhabited the settlement, providing products and services which no frontier community could live without. Elves and dwarves made up a large share of Lobenden's population. Tensions between them and the local humans were lower than in the trading post proper, as they were all united in their daily labours. Prison barge. The barge moored in Flotsam's harbour was used as a floating prison for captured Scoia'tael, and those accused of collaborating with the guerrillas. In unusually cramped and squalid conditions, the prisoners awaited transport to the final place of imprisonment, and then interrogation, and the inevitable noose. The Cairn's lair. So this is where the shipwreck was. The monster's lair was located near a small shoal by the ancient ruins of an elven bridge. Wrecked riverboats, heaps of algae, and the stench of rotting flesh unmistakably identified the spot to which the Cairn had taken a liking. That, at least, is how it was described to me, for I was in no hurry to risk an expedition through the forest only to tease the cranky old man in his den. When the wind blew from the ruined bridge, one could smell for oneself that there was little exaggeration to the tales of the Cairn's aromatic presence. It stank so bad my eyes watered. Right, let's go through. Who should I talk about? Who should I pick? I don't know. Are these in a particular order? I don't know. Secondary characters. New boy. This soldier had acquired an allegedly miraculous amulet and truly believed its power would protect him from any and all harm. Recognizing that the pendant was useless, Geralt informed New Boy of this fact. Grateful for the warning provided earlier, New Boy not only believed that Geralt was innocent, but helped the Witcher avoid the guards, and thus honesty had proved to be the best policy, which is true, sometimes, at least. Count Etchevery. Before he got involved in the revolt against Foltest, Sir Etchevery was known for his valour and tenacity as a knight, proving both in more than one tournament, either mounted or on foot. Yet valiance and tenacity were not enough to survive a cut from the Witcher's blade, and thus the brave Etchevery paid with his life for his ill-advised participation in the rebellion. Arthur Tales. Though he would not show it, meeting Tales was a great surprise to Geralt at the time. They met each other in the past, in rather unpleasant circumstances, and the knight had a scarred face as a reminder of that meeting. This time Tales got away cleanly, the Witcher having confined himself to a few acrid words. I don't know who this is. The archpriest. Right, okay. Archpriest. This church dignitary, confident of his god's protection, greeted the intruders with harsh words. Yet he succumbed to persuasion and revealed where the king would find his illegitimate offspring. Einar Gaussel. In addition to being a well-informed bookseller, Einar Gaussel was also an accomplished barber. In discovering this, Geralt learned of the only person in Flotsam who would be able to do anything about his Shut up, Dandelion. In Lobinden's not if Lobinden's non-humans had been organized as a community, the dwarf Einar Gaussel would have been the closest thing to its leader. Though the Scoia'tael considered him a collaborator on a human leash, Einar tried to represent the non-human minority as best he could, even if that meant mediating between its members and the commandant. Furthermore, he ran something akin to a bookshop. Given its location in what was a complete backwater, his selection of titles was quite impressive. Fioravanti. A truly enterprising man, the merchant Fioravanti had found a niche that produced for him a decent income. Though his specialization was extremely narrow, this was the very key to his success. For the secret of commerce is to be the exclusive provider of a certain category of goods or services. Thus, Fioravanti was still in business despite his forced stopover in Flotsam. Cedric. Huntsman. Hunt's elf. For reasons that were not entirely clear, this wise and experienced elf had chosen to live among humans. He worked for the people of Flotsam as a lookout and trapper, and none had a better knowledge of the surrounding forests. Whether it was the local plants and wildlife, or the dangers that lurked amidst the trees, Cedric was the local inhabitants' chief and often only source of information. Melina. Life was not easy for the non-humans of Flotsam, and Melina was no exception. The elven woman was suspected of leading soldiers into Scoia'tael ambushes, a charge that could easily send her to the scaffold. The elven woman had indeed been luring soldiers into a trap. Her fate was now in Geralt's hand. Melina was arrested and charged with being an accessory to murder. She suffered the consequences of her deeds. Chorab. Chorab was Lobinden's alderman. A simple man, he nevertheless blended his penchant for storytelling with a desire to teach and impart wisdom. His tales pertained to times long past, traditions worthy of preservation, and legends that had all but been forgotten. He cared for the community he led and represented, and any honest villager could count on his help. Arnold. Supposedly involved in commercial dealings with Bernard Laredo, this man was a frequent guest at the commandant's abode. Triss. Right. I have known the sorceress Triss Marigold for a long time, for she is one of Geralt's closest friends, the young, pretty, talented auburn-haired mage. I wouldn't say that was Auburn. From Maribor hardly reminded me of the giggling flapper of years past. Her knowledge, abilities, and loyalty had brought her far. A hero from Sodden, known as the 14th of the Hill, for she was mistakenly counted as the 14th mage to die in that battle, she sat on the royal council of King Foltest of Temeria. And though they say that a monarch's favour is uncertain, for the king had once expelled all mages from Temeria, Triss had managed to gain Foltest's trust. As regards the Witcher, everyone was witness to Triss's friendship with Geralt. Anyone who saw them together would easily confirm that these two had much in common, and it is common knowledge that an old flame never dies. For those reasons, after Foltest's death, the sorceress decided that she would help the Witcher most by staying by his side. Not heeding her threatened position at court, she harnessed all her strength and powers to help Geralt, whom she still had feelings for. I was not there at the time, but I heard tales of the show of power Triss put on at the beach near Flotsam. Though she was weakened and barely conscious, the sorceress managed to sustain a magical barrier, and the three survived the Scoia'tael arrows thanks to her. Nobody was surprised that Triss knew Sheila de Tansarville. A more attentive observer would certainly have noticed the chill in their greetings, as well as Triss's evident dislike of her elder colleague. I'm a little disappointed that there's no reference back to The Witcher 1. I wonder if there is anywhere else, because the fact that you import stuff across, you just tweak a few words. Oh, just input this paragraph if this happened, or Or maybe just a little thing like, I know it's just about the fact we romance during Witcher 1. Because surely there should be a little reference for if you romance Shani in that. Because apparently you get Triss anyway. Explaining what happens. Right, Geralt. Behold our hero. Subjected to mutations and rigorous sword and sorcery training as a child, he has become a superhuman monster slayer. Always penniless and often disdained by those whom he protects, he wanders the world, seeking work. Fate has little mercy for him, piling obstacles in his way. Yet he trudges on. He has more scruples than what? He has more scruples than a beggaring bum has fleas. So a beggar, right. Doubts haunt him even when a band of ruffians, knives drawn, approaches him on the highway. Is he a good man? I do not think so. Does he try to maintain his humanity? I believe he does. You must know that Geralt of Rivia died once already, or at least everyone thought him dead. During a massacre in Rivia, he sought to defend non-humans and fell to overwhelming odds. Placed in a boat, he floated into the mist, into a realm where he finally found peace. Not for long. Because of forces to be mentioned later, Geralt returned just in time to defend the Witcher's ancient home fortress, and then embarked on a mission to recover the secret stolen from it, The Witcher 1. Along the way, he took part in a Scoia'tael uprising. No. Shattered a powerful criminal organization. Yes. And killed the Grand Master of the Order of the Flaming Rose. Yes. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. All the while, his fame as a lover grew. No. Well, that's Geralt for you. As if all this wasn't enough, he then followed the attempted assassination of King Foltest in Temeria and became one of the monarch's most trusted men. I mean, 3 out of 5? One of them was a cutscene. It seems like they've written it with an idea of this is how you're going. This is our canonical storyline. This is what we expect people to do. So this is what we're going to say they do. Even if we didn't side with the Scoia'tael. I don't think we ever sided with the Scoia'tael. So this is not true. We shattered a powerful criminalization. We destroyed Salamandra, pretty much. Killed the Grand Master of the Order of the Flaming Rose, yes, with a sword that. But that's for monsters. So, right, King Foltest. In retrospect, His Royal Majesty King Foltest was certainly an exceptional persona when compared to the other crowned heads of the time. The King of Temeria, Prince of Sodden, Sovereign of Pontar and Mahakam, and Senior Protector of Bruges, Angren, Rivendell, and Elendar, was a firm and decisive ruler, as I suppose one should expect from someone so abundantly titled. He was the kind of man who, when hit, made a sound suggesting he was forged of steel and not moulded of bird dung. Being unmarried, he led a rather casual private life. In his youth, while still a prince, Foltest strove to demonstrate what he was capable of, and he proved capable of much. The love affair he had with his own sister, by whom he fathered his eldest daughter Ada, which is part of the reason why she was a Striga, I think. Can't remember the reasons for it. Was it because the guy loved his sister, or did the guy think this was unnatural? I can't remember. But she was spawned dead, and then she became the Striga and was like, grrr, and then Geralt was like, here's the merchant, and then she was like, arr, and then Geralt was like, oh, I'm gonna hide in a coffin. That is the abridged version. Right. Is widely known, as is his later affection for Baroness Marie-Louise Lavalette. Both relationships bore heavy consequences, so to speak, and in both instances, Geralt found himself stuck in the middle of the resulting mess. Curing Ada twice of the Curse of the Striga and the prologue, and onto this game because of his children from Marie-Louise. Foltest most certainly still harboured feelings for his former lover, and decided which one, and decided to save the children that were the fruit of this affair. Doesn't answer the question. He feared they would otherwise become trump cards in the game of politics, tools of intrigue. Yeah, still not narrowing it down. Once Foltest made a decision, no one and nothing could stand in his way. True. The deaths of the great and powerful of this world do not always befit their lives. The blow was so unexpected that even the Witcher failed to react in time. A dagger's blade ran across the throat of Foltest, ruler of Temeria, Prince of Sodden, Sovereign of Ponton, Mahakam, Senior Protector of Bruges, Angren, Rivendell, Alanda, etc., etc., cleanly slitting it, and his blood flowed out onto the floor of the Temple Solar. Thus died one of the most powerful kings of the North, at the hands of an assassin in the garb of a monk.